Our first female fight of the evening as Hannah Ross makes the walk. 5'5", 148 pounds naturally. This one taking place at 135, so a cut for both these fighters. 2-1 in her mixed martial arts career as an amateur. Said she's been training every single week, always working hard in and out of the gym outside of being able to train. Said always watching videos, mentally thinking about how I can get better in all ways. Said she never stops training, regardless if I have a fight ahead or not. The only difference when I have a fight lined up is that the intensity of my trainings tends to go up. Mindset, other aspects of preparing for a fight. Knows that her opponent is going to come out and be aggressive, and said she has prepared for that.
You know, and making a long trip to the fight capital of the world here in Las Vegas from Staunton, Virginia, fighting out of Mastering MMA.
Says she works at a restaurant full time, which, as we know, Mahoney, that is even tougher than a cage fight sometimes.
Best cardio you can get.
Hannah Ross in the cage.
Whitley Brown.
Whitley Brow fighting out of Henderson, Nevada, and making the walk in her hometown as a perfect amateur fighter at 3-0. So certainly seems to be on her way, and this young fighter fighting out of Las Vegas, out of Henderson specifically, has a bright future and perfect so far in a young MMA career. It's always interesting when you have new opponents come along that challenge you in different ways, but so far unblemished on that young record. Started training about 3.5 years ago. Started watching some fighters that she was training close to, and then met up with somebody from Utah. And they said, hey, let's actually start training together. Got into it. Next thing you know, a perfect young amateur record and fighting towards the top of the amateur card here in Tuff-N-Uff.
Yeah, Dave, she walks away with the victory tonight. I mean, there's a lot of implications that this could lead to the 135-pound title fight for her, which would be very important. We've seen some really amazing women champions coming out of Tuff-N-Uff over the years, and so a lot of eyes going to be on Hannah tonight, Dave.
Says she's a huge Stipe Miocic fan, thinks it's awesome. He fights professionally and as a firefighter. She says she loves all that he does. Very excited to watch this young lady compete. Whitley Brow into the cage as well. Taking a look at the tail of the tape here, brought to us by our friends at Tellison Tequila. Slight reach advantage, 2.5 inches for Brow. Here's Justin Bernard.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for three 3-minute rounds in the Tuff-N-Uff women's bantamweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. She's a mixed martial artist holding an amateur record, 2 wins, 1 loss. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 137.2 pounds. Fighting out of Staunton, Virginia, Hannah Fierce Honey Ross. And now, introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner. She's a mixed martial artist holding an amateur record, 3 wins, 0 losses. She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 136 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Whitley Brown. And when the action begins, your referee in charge, Matthew Beeman.
Ross is wearing the black and the gold. Brow is wearing the red and the black. 3 3-minute rounds before we get to our co-main event of the amateur fight card. Coming to you live from the Sahara Theater in Las Vegas on the Strip. Dave Farah and Jason Mahoney, and here we go with round number 1. No touch of the gloves. Interesting.
A touch of the jab to start things off, though, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, I expect Brow to fight very long with the reach advantage that she has in this fight, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it said it was 2.5 inches on paper. It does
looks longer.
Longer than that, and part of that is that it appears that Brow does have more length in her legs as well. She is 3 inches taller.
Nice combo there from Brow. Ross looking for that head kick.
Ooh, and Ross connects as there's a slight little slip there from Brow. Now Brow looking for that takedown.
Has her hands locked.
And big takedown from Whitley Brow early on here in round number 1 with over 2 minutes to do some work here from the top position. Brow getting ready to graduate from UNLV with a degree in sports nutrition in May. So, talked a lot about over the years how much what you put into your body and how you fuel yourself really matters for these fights. But interesting to see a young lady, you know, who's working towards that professionally in her life, coupled with a mixed martial arts career.
I mean, giving that, you know, having that that kind of knowledge can definitely give you an advantage in the ring going into it, Dave.
Yeah, so far here in round number 1, nice job by Brow. From top position, she's throwing some punches here that are landing right to the ribs of Ross. Pretty uncomfortable spot. I mean, it's not a huge amount of damage, but she is in top position. She is throwing some punches, so while the referee is watching it closely, she's certainly doing enough to keep this fight on the ground. She steps over there, so she's in the half guard now of Ross. Let's see what she's able to do here. Ross just in a really uncomfortable position, stacked up like that.
Ross doesn't have a whole lot of places to go right now. This is the problem. You know, Brow has done a really good job of just controlling where this fight takes place so far in this first round.
Yeah, and Brow continues to be heavy here from the top. 45 seconds left. Ross manages to get it back to the full guard, but still Brow on top. Let's see if she's able to get some more damage here in the final 35 seconds. And those legs starting to creep up from Ross here a little bit. I'm curious if she wants to potentially try to threaten, snag an arm, maybe a triangle, but looks like Brow did a nice job of identifying that and just kind of steps right over to side control. That arm is all wound up in there, though, so Brow's right arm is caught between the legs of Ross.
Seeing some action from Ross on the ground now.
Yeah, Ross, because she's got that crucifix, was able to throw some punches there that weren't able to be checked by Brow, but now Brow postures up a little bit, able to throw some punches in the final seconds of round number 1. So we'll head on to the second round, but nice job there from Brow.
Yeah, this is a fun first round. You know, a lot of feeling out, but then you know, once Brow got Ross to the ground, you know, she knew what she was doing down there and did not disappoint her corner in that first round.
Yeah, and you see this like slight slip here from Brow, and it looked like it may end up costing her a little bit, but she was able, even though there it is right there, so she slips a little bit, does a nice job recovering, just presses forward, and then she ends up getting the takedown. If Ross was ready for that moment, it's possible that she maybe could have gotten the takedown herself, but instead, Brow with a nice quick recovery, presses forward, gets a takedown, and finishes out the rest of the round in top position. So final seconds here of the break between the two. Both the fighters off of their stools. Again, it's the black and the gold for Ross. It's the red and the black for Brow. 3 more minutes on the clock, round number 2, and we are underway here at the Sahara in Las Vegas with the second round.
Both fighters lead with that head kick. Both miss.
And you heard the corner there of Ross saying, hey, you got to set up the head kick. Don't come out, just throw that. But both of them decided to do that to start round number 2. And trading of hands here.
Ross working her way in, lands a couple nice ones before getting taken down there by Brow.
Yeah, Brow's takedown game is really strong. Did a nice job to put her right in the back again.
And as you said, Dave, you said the reach is only like 2 or 3 inches difference, but it feels like Ross is having to fight her way into Brown, which led to that takedown that we saw right there.
And Brown doing a nice job of timing the takedowns, and that's such a big part of the takedown game, right? As soon as Ross is working her way in, Brow is right there to meet her, put her on her back, and 2 minutes to work here. Butterfly guard here for Ross in the second round.
Ross hasn't taken a ton of damage so far on the ground. You know, Brow was doing a pretty good job of trying to get herself into a more dominant position, but she's certainly showing that she has control once this fight goes to the ground. Brow softening up the body a little bit.
Yeah, and again, Brow, to her credit, just doing exactly what she needs to do, throwing enough punches to keep it positioned right here. So the referee not even imploring them for more action right now, because there is plenty of work that's being done in the center of the cage. She's trying to pass, gets a side control. She's got half guard right now.
And there's something to be said about somebody who's just methodical in their fights. They know that they want to walk away with a victory. They know what's on the line if they walk away with a victory tonight. And, you know, Brow is doing a very good job, again, controlling Ross here in the center of the Tuff-N-Uff cage.
Inside of our final minute here of round number 2, down to about 45 seconds. And the second round is looking a lot like the first round, Mahoney, where Brow, top position, throwing some punches, and Ross trying to figure out how to navigate that. And Brow just very much in control of this fight, at least through these first couple of rounds.
You know, and this has got to be draining for Ross, that when you have somebody on top of you for 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, just constantly looking, constantly putting all their weight on you.
Yeah, frustrating more than anything too, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to get to a better position, but when your opponent's just as heavy as Brow has been, not a lot that you can do about it.
And not giving Ross really any openings to get up.
And again, final seconds of the round, and Brow finding opportunities to posture up, get a little more damage in there, and at least on our unofficial scorecard, I won't speak for you, Mahoney, I've got a 2-0 for Brow.
Yeah, so far, Dave, 2-0 Brow. I mean, she's been very impressive. Once this fight gets to the ground, it's all her, you know. So, I mean, if
bit of a Brow beating, you might say.
A little bit. You know, but round number 3, Hannah Ross is going to really have to keep this fight on the feet, I think. You know, she had some really nice success, you know, in that second round with a couple combinations before the fight went to the ground. You know, nice exchange here, nice left, but led to that takedown by Brow, and that's where the rest of the fight ended up taking place in that second round, giving her the edge in my personal opinion. But a good fight from both of these fighters, or, you know, good match for both of these fighters so far.
Yeah, Brow just finding those takedowns and being able to keep her opponent on the ground. Like, so far, the advantage definitely going her direction, in my opinion. Let's see whether or not it's the same style fight here in the third and final round between these two. 3 more minutes on the clock. What does the corner of Ross tell her to do to try to avoid this takedown? Do you go for broke? Brow throwing a head kick there that just misses. Ross tries to answer back, and again, Brow shooting forward, looking for that takedown.
Yeah, Ross has to find a way to break free here.
Yeah, you got to do something, right? Even if it's a risky move to try to break out of this, you just cannot get taken to the ground again with your back on the canvas.
Because she's shown she's got some really nice fists, but we just haven't been able to see her use them as much as she would like. But I mean, just a masterful performance so far by Brow, just controlling this fight at almost every angle after those first 15 seconds of each round.
And she's looking for the takedown again, but even just pressed up against the cage, great job with control, not really at risk of anything herself, just looking for the right opportunity to try to take her opponent to the ground.
Big knees.
Yeah, big knees from Brow.
Yeah, four unanswered knees right there. Brow has her hands clasped.
And looking to elevate, or at least it seemed momentarily that she was, but Ross doing a nice job being heavy there, not allowing the takedown to be completed. But Brow just continues to pepper, drops down.
Nice level change there. Has her hands clasped once again.
And there's the takedown.
Big takedown. Brow showing off just how strong she is.
Inside 75 seconds, and Brow once again in top position here with just over a minute remaining and continuing to throw punches. Inside of 40 seconds now, and Whitley Brow remains in top position. More punches to the body here, and she continues to punch her way to a potential victory.
This is a scene that we have seen in the 2 previous rounds. This is a tough position for Ross to be in. I mean, Brow has just shown that she can control this fight once she's on top.
Yep, great work by Brow. Once again, finishing the final 10 seconds here by posturing up, throwing some more additional punches. And that is 3 rounds in the can, and Brow puts her hands up in the air, and for good reason. Great job. Good game plan, came out, got it done.
Tough fight, both these fighters, warriors, but what an impressive performance tonight in her 4th fight. Whitley Brow. Could this mean a title shot for her in the future? Possibly.
I mean, dominant performance, at least on our unofficial scorecards, right? I mean, this is part of it here. We saw those knees unanswered to the body, the level change, as you mentioned, Mahoney, you know, doing a good job elevating there, getting her opponent on her back. And that was just the story of the fight, right? Like, once it went to the ground, there wasn't really an answer from Ross. I mean, you know, Brow just did such a good job with control. It's not a knock against Hannah Ross. I mean, she's obviously a game fighter, and in there ready for anything that Brow threw at her. It's just great control from Brow. Judges have rendered their decision. Here's Justin Bernard.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we have your winner by unanimous decision, the red corner, Whitley Brow.
She's now 4-0. Congratulations to Whitley Brow getting the victory here at Tuff-N-Uff tonight. Now 4-0.